भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः. My humble prostrations at the lotus feet of Sri Guruji, Gurudev, all the Kriya Masters, all the sages and saints, all the gods and goddesses, and I bow to you all. I specially pray to Sri Guruji to think through me, speak through me, and act through me. Jai Guru. Okay. So we are in the fourth chapter of Bhagavad Gita, and that is a crucial moment. The chapter is called Jnana Karma Sannyasa Yoga. And this 18th verse, which we had seen earlier, we'll just go through it, just glance through it again, is the crucial verse not only for the chapter 4, but the entire Bhagavad Gita. Because the Lord has tried to put the entire Upanishadic knowledge in that particular verse. So what is that verse? Was karmanye karmaye pasye akamani cha karmaya sa buddhiman manusyesu sa yukta krishna karma kuru. So he's saying karmanya akarmaya pasye. Who sees inaction in action, and akarmani cha karmaya, and he sees action in inaction. Sa buddhiman manusyesu. He is the wise person amongst people. Sa yukta. He is united. United with what? United with self-knowledge, jnana. And sa krishna karma. He is the accomplisher of all the activities, all the actions. So basically what he was saying, when he is trying to give the nature of action, karma, so he delves into Upanishadic knowledge, then he gives us the essence of entire Upanishadic knowledge, Vedic knowledge, saying that what is the reality of an individual, a living being. So we had seen there is two aspects of our personality. One is called higher self, Atman, and another is lower self called Ahankar. And Atman we had seen that is Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahman, which Lord has in chapter 2nd, from the 12th verse to 25th verse, he has already dealt with in elaborately the nature of Atman. And all of us, we have seen that and we have gone through it. What there he has said, that is Ekam, there is no second. Then he's saying all pervading. He's saying it is changeless and it is eternal. It was there, it is now, it will be there in future. And unchanging, and it's akarta and abhokta. And also he had said it's aprameya. Also it's difficult to know. So this is the Atman part of it. And there is another second part to the personality of a jiva is called ahankara, the lower self. What is ahankara? It is a mind blessed by Atman, consciousness principle. And this, and we had also taken into cognizance that what is the nature of this Atman or the consciousness principle. So there are 5 basic principles we had discussed that. So it is an independent principle which pervades and enlivens the body. We had taken the example of electricity and bulb. So that means what we are saying here, electricity is an independent entity which pervades and enlivens the bulb. That's what we are saying. And second, we are saying it is not a part or product or property of the body. Like electricity is not part of the bulb, not product of the bulb, not the property of the bulb. Then third, we said it pervades and enlivens the body. That means electricity comes into the bulb and makes the tungsten filament light up. Like consciousness is making us enlivened. Similarly, electricity is enlivening the bulb. It's making it give light. And then it's saying it is not limited by the boundaries of the body. That means electricity is not limited to the boundaries of the bulb. It's all pervading. It is also pervading between the bulbs and everywhere. So that is the. And then he said that when the bulb, when the body is gone, the consciousness continues, but it is unable to act because of absence of the instruments of perception. What is that? That means when the tungsten filament in the bulb is snapped, so that means it is gone. But then electricity continues. But electricity cannot light up on its own because it needs an instrument. It needs a bulb, or it needs an AC to make it cool, or it is a fan to make the air go around. So exactly like that. So it is an independent principle. Consciousness and matter is another second fundamental principle there. Two things are there. Now, at this stage, Lord is saying on the 18th verse, you have one aspect, it's called Atman, the higher self, another lower self is matter. Then, we have seen that also if you go into scriptures, Upanishads, that Atman, one aspect of Atman, in this particular chapter of fourth chapter, Lord is discussing about is nature of Akarta and Abhakta. What is basically saying that this Atman, the higher self, being all pervading like space, can never act. It is ever the silent witness. Then what happens to the matter? Matter is ever in action, is in motion. Because we had seen in two aspects, if you look at it, if you look at it from the science point of view, science also coming that they said that it is made of atom, then atom you have the proton, electron and positron, then the electrons are on the violently, they are moving around. So that means it's always on the move. Then also we had seen in the scripturally also, philosophically we had seen the matter has three strands or nature it has, that tamas, rajas and sattva. Three gunas are there. And when it is in unmanifested form, they are in equilibrium. The tamas, rajas and sattva are in equilibrium. So there is no movement. But the moment it manifests, then this equilibrium between tamas and rajas and sattva is disturbed. And that sets in the motion, in the matter. And then we had seen that is reflected in our body as well. Because we had seen when we are tamasic, we breathe through our left nostril. When it is rajasic, it goes through our right nostril. When you are in sattvic, it goes through our both the nostrils. So that itself also saying that all the time we are breathing and all the time it is alternating. Either it's in the left nostril or right nostril or both. That means there is always a movement between tamas, rajas, and sattva. So that means this our inferior nature or ahankara is always in motion and it gets engaged into action. That's why the Lord said, you cannot remain. Looking at our lower self, you cannot remain without action. So if you cannot remain without action, then as per the moral law of existence, whenever you are performing any action, so it results in good result or bad result depending upon the nature of the action itself. So otherwise it's called punyam and papam. So you get engaged in action and the result of the action, depending on the nature of the action, then either it brings in punyas or papas. And then what happens? This continues even after the action is finished. It's called, our call it is sanchita karma. And when the human body dies, then what is happening? Our lower self, that ahankara, leaves this physical body. So the physical body is there. The consciousness or the Atman principle is also there. But body has lost the capability to reflect this consciousness, which was otherwise was done in the mind. So that mind enlivened by consciousness is ahankara. So at the time of death, this ahankara leaves this body. That's why it's a dead body. And then when ahankara is leaving, it carries with it that papam and punya. And for the next birth, it gets ready again, which takes another physical body. So from the part of this sanchita karma, which is consisting of papas and punyam, a part of is given as a prarabdha for the next life, which you have to enjoy or suffer. And when you get engaged in this action in this life also, you bring it agami karma. Because this also you will be engaged in actions, so this will also bring in results of those actions. This is called agami karma. But what happens? So this is there. This is for the our ahankara. What happens to the Atman? Atman is ever free because it is never in action. Like electricity, it never does anything on its own. So whether it is lighting up or not lighting up, whether it is fanning the air or is not, whether it's cooling the air or not, it depends on the instruments, that ahankara part of it, but it's never on the electricity. Electricity doesn't take any part of it. So similarly, our Atman, the higher principle, our higher self, is never in action. So here, Lord is taking another beautiful state. So what he's saying, in the 18th verse, he said, in action he is seeing inaction, in inaction he is seeing action. So the man of wisdom, that means a self-realized person, what is happening? He has now shifted his identity from ahankara to his higher self, the Atman. So when he is looking, perceiving himself from the point of view of Atman, it is ever not in action, it is in a state of inaction. But a self-realized person, for his survival, also utilizes this ahankara to maintain this body, mind, and intellect. So when he looks, because it has a functional nature now, like we have a car, it is a functional instrument for us. Similarly, for a realized person, his body, mind, intellect, or ahankara is a functional instrument. So when he looks from that aspect, he sees action. So what is that? A person who is an ordinary like us human being. So we have always feeling of incompleteness. Why? Because our true nature, the scripture is saying, from our experience we will know, because we are Sachin and Ananda Swarupa, you are always full. That happiness, Sachin and Ananda is basically completeness. When you are complete, like that happiness is not happiness of pleasure we are talking about there. That when that we are given that example, when you take food, full food, lunch, then you are a satiated self. Like you don't want to do anything, you are happy, you have everything in the world, you are happy with the world, you are happy with yourself. So that satiation, point of satiation, is otherwise called happiness. So if this is our true nature, when we are identifying ourselves with the body, mind, intellect, our lower self, ahankara, then we have always a sense of incompleteness. Like we have seen that when we are running temperature, because to remain healthy is our true nature, when we are running temperature, we are uncomfortable. Similarly, because our true nature is Atman principle, our higher self, when we are identifying ourselves with the ahankara, we always feel uncomfortable. Why? Because we feel incomplete. Because matter is always finite. So what we do? Then ahankara, what it does, he looks at this world, tries to get this particular thing, particular relationship with the person or particular event. Then he feels if I get that, I will feel complete. But finite, that ahankara is finite. The achievements he gets from this world is also finite. So finite plus finite is only finite. Finite plus finite can never be infinite. So, an individual identified with ahankara is always a man which is finite and always in a state of incompleteness. And that is always an urge to get into action mode and find something which will make me feel complete. But we are searching in the wrong place because we have said finite plus finite will be only finite. So where is then wisdom lies? So Lord is saying what you do from your ahankara, shift your identity to Atman principle, your higher self. So once you shift your identity, now you will be infinite. You claim your nature, which original nature is completeness or purnatva. So always he feels full. And then what then drives him into action? If he's always he's feeling complete, then what is driving him to action? What do you think? What drives him into action? Yes. Anyone?
Baba, lok sangrah
Yes.
for others' benefit.
Yes. It's called compassion. Like a mother has a compassion for the child. So whatever the child needs, the mother does. If she has to play, she plays. She has to feed, she has to feed. She has to buy something, she buys it. Not that she likes it. She does it because the child likes it. It's instinctive. It's not like you think about it, oh, this my child wants, I will do it. No, just instinctive. Similarly, for a self-realized person, he is full of compassion because everything, because it's all pervading, there is nothing separate from him. So everything is in him. So that means every other individual, he sees that connection. So that is the compassion is there. And that compassion moves him into action. So there is no karma phala there because he is doing the harm for the sake of compassion without taking the ownership of those actions because he doesn't have a X to grind. So that's why we find a self-realized person, when he gets into action, what happens? Is agami karma. There is no agami karma for him. That means every action he does after self-realization, there is no karma phala is there. It doesn't add up to his sanchita karma. And what happened to his sanchita karma in self-realization? Yes.
Wiped clean.
Yes, it is got wiped clean. His sanchita karma is wiped clean. And agami karma, whatever actions he is now doing it doesn't add up. There is no agami karma for him. So only he continues till his prarabdha karma for this life is finished. The moment it is finished, he leaves this body, physical body, and then he never takes again another body. But if it is so required, he comes as an avatara for a special act, which also is not called an act, it's called a leela. It's a sport. It's divine leela. So that's why for a self-realized person, it is not more any action, it is a leela. So what Lord is saying, basically he's saying, if you have a physical body, you cannot avoid action. Once you are engaged in actions, it will bring in result, papas and punyas, and then you have to exhaust it. So it is a continuous process because the more you exhaust it, again you get into action, again it adds up. So it is a continuous process. But then what is the wisdom? Because you have physical body, you cannot avoid action. But I don't get into this cycle of life and death. So Lord is saying, what you do, because in the 3rd chapter he said, you better do karma yoga. You dedicate it to the karma to me and take whatever the result is coming as prasada. That means at that time, there was a result of action was accruing in karma yoga. That's why he's saying prasada buddhi is coming. If prasada would not have been there, prasada buddhi would not have been come. But here he is going one step ahead in the 4th chapter. That's why it is called sannyasa, jnana, karma, sannyasa yoga. Now you are handling action in an intelligent way. What is the intelligent way? Shift. Because the moment you are getting to action, it will bring in result. So what you do? You shift your identity from ahankara to your higher self. And whenever you are getting engaged in action, you think that you are utilizing your ahankara, which is a functional instrument, not your true self. So this shifting of identity from ahankara to atman is called wisdom. So that's why the Lord is saying here in the 18th verse, he said, Manus is so buddhiman. He's a wise person. Where is the wisdom lies? Wisdom lies in disidentifying yourself with ahankara and identifying yourself with your Atman principle. So there is a buddhiman, manushyesu, amongst men. He is the intelligent person, wise person. So yuktaha. He is united. United with what? Knowledge all the time. Now also we know, but we are not united. Like here, if electricity is not there now, and still you can see me and you can hear me, that means I am utilizing some alternate source of electricity, which is otherwise called UPS system. uninterrupted power supply, correct? Yes or no? If electricity is not there, somebody's house, you can see the light is there, that means he's connected to UPS, uninterrupted power supply. So what the wise person does, he is uninterrupted, you can say Purnattam supply. So he is not trying to get his feeling of completeness from his achievements in action, coming out of action. He is connected to that UPS, unlimited Purnattam supply, all the time. Sayuktaha. So he is not connected now into greed, that is Ahankara. He is connected to UPS. All the time it will be working. Sayuktaha and Sakrishna Karmakut. He is the doer of all actions. You are saying he doesn't do the work because he is identifying himself with the Ahankara, with the Atman. He has disowned his Ahankara. He is taking his as a functional instrument only. Then how we can say he is the doer of all action? It is a figurative expression in the sense that he is the owner of all accomplishments. That means he is the enjoyer of all accomplishment. Why is saying? That means if I want a house with my Ahankara in command, I get a house, I feel a little happy. Then I get promotion, I try this one, I need a spouse, I need my son or children to be doing this. So all these things we are adding up. So we said that we want to be somebody. Everybody said, I want to be somebody. Somebody means I have to accomplish something. But what happens to a Jnani? Because already he is full. He doesn't need any accomplishment from the outside world. It doesn't depend on this outside world. So that's why he is a Krishna Karmakrut. He is the accomplisher of everything, whatever you can think of, because it is infinite. It's not finite, because what the world can give us is finitude. Even if we get all the money of Elon Musk, still there will be a gap. But the moment you identify yourself with the Atman, there is nothing that you feel the lack of it, because it is like space, all pervading. Space can never feel that it is small or incomplete. While the earth can, water can, fire can, not space. So similarly, once you identify with your higher nature, then you are Krishna Karma. You are as if you have accomplished everything one can think of in this world. So this is the entire Upanishadic knowledge Lord has brought it here, and in one verse he also told us how to live in this world. That means not only he talked about the theory part of it, he gives a technique also, how to utilize this knowledge and gain from this knowledge and live wisely in this world. So this was in the 18th verse. Then we had seen the 19th verse. Yasya sarve samarambha kama sankalpa varjitam jnanagni dagdha karmanam amahu panditam buddha. Here, I also told you that from the 19th verse till 24th verse, these are explanatory verses trying to explain the philosophy which is given in the verse 18. Now, on the 19th, in the 19th verse, Lord is talking about that how a jnani, that means who has shifted his identity from Ahankara to Atman, he engages in action in this world. What is his motivation? To do action. If he does, how he carries these actions. So what he is saying? Yasya sarves samarambha. So that means whatever actions, undertakings he taking, works he's taking, sarves means what all the actions, yasya means that person, that the wise persons, yasya, sarve samarambha, whatever samarambha means all actions, undertakings. So what he is taking, then how he does it? Kama sankalpa varjita. There is no doership in this action. Sankalpa means you take a vow that I am going to do this action because I want to achieve this. We have seen in puja, before you start the puja, you do the sankalpa. I say tityartham, means I want to please you, or I want this dhanam, dhanyam, I want, so I am doing this puja. You make a sankalpa. Similarly, though in day-to-day activities, we don't do a sankalpa, but that very fact that we have a desire, we want to accomplish something through that action, that is called sankalpa. That means the desire to accomplish something from that action or get something out of that action is sankalpa. Because a wise person, he doesn't expect anything to get out of the action. He is doing it for the sake of doing it, for the benefit of others. So that's why he is kama sankalpa varjita. So there is no desire, any selfish desire to fulfill. So there is no difference in the undertaking. The action may be the same for a jnani and for a ahankari. But the attitude inside is totally diametrically opposite. When a ahankari wants to achieve something, a jnani takes it like a leela or sport. I have to do it, it does job. But when I want to accomplish something through action, it starts with an anxiety whether I will be able to achieve it. Then during the course of the actions, the doubt is also there. And then once the action is finished, also there is either the frustration is there if I don't get it, or whatever even I achieve, because actual is always fall short of the ideal. So I am also feeling insufficient. That means before the action, during the course of the action, and after the action, all the time a ahankari is in a state of emotional upheaval. Is not on a stable ground. But what happens to a jnani who has identified himself with the Atman, the higher principle? So what has happened? He said, Jnanani dagdha karmanam. So karmanam means the result of the action. He doesn't get any result of those actions. So what has happened? He's saying it is like a seed, is like a roasted seed. A seed which is roasted also is almost like same. But one thing it cannot, the roasted seed can do is it cannot germinate. It has lost that element of regenerating itself. That means this karma phala of a jnani is like roasted seed. It cannot germinate. There is no karma phala in that. So, and what sort of a fire he uses to roast it? Jnanagni, the fire of knowledge. So he has utilized this fire of knowledge to burn that seed of action. So this is how a jnani carries on action in this world. Jnanagni daddha karmanam tam ahu. Tam ahu means tam. That person is called panditam. He is called pandita. Pandita. What is a pandita? What is pandita?
Realized person.
Yeah. Panda. Panda is the knowledge or wisdom. And Ita. Ita means the endowed with. So he is endowed with self-knowledge. Pandita. Who is saying Pandita to him? Buddha. Buddha means wise person. So he is called a Pandita by wise persons. Because if you want to give like say Nobel Prize in say physics, you cannot put a cricketer there, or you cannot put the famous singer there to choose who is fit for a Nobel Prize in physics. So what you do, you take the physicists, then they will decide who should get the Nobel Prize, because they will be able to discern the knowledge, the wisdom this person has accomplished. So similarly, who will call him the Panditas? This is Buddha, the wise people. They only will be able to know whether he has got it or not. That's why we will see that Gurudev gave the Paramahansa title to Guruji, because he could only know that he has now achieved the highest. So this Pandita Buddha. And this also, another thing here also we have to also see why Lord has used that Pandita also in a very intelligent way. Because if you remember, the first verse of Lord's teaching in Bhagavad Gita, which is the first verse of Bhagavan's teaching? Anybody? Which is the first verse? Which is the first verse? No guessing?
Chapter 2, 11th verse.
Yes, that's correct. That is the chapter 2. So chapter 2, 11th verse, if you go into it, he's saying, Asochan anusachastvam pragya badascha bhasase gatasun agatascha nanu sochanti pandita. So he saw Arjuna giving the teachings as if in the chapter 1 and up to chapter 2nd up to 7th verse, he's saying, you have been feeling sorrow for this for which you should not be grieving for. You should not feel sorry for it. And then you are talking like a Pandita. Nanu Sochati Pandita. A Pragyabadasya, Pragyabadasya, you are talking like a wise person. Gatasu Agatasucha. So you are grieving for the dead. Gatasun means people who are dead. Agatasucha, those people are living. And you should not be grieving for them. That's why, like Panditas, they don't grieve for that. But you are talking like a Pandita, but you are grieving, which is not the characteristic of a Pandita. So now he's juxtaposing that Pandita word here. He's saying this wise person who only shifts his identity from Ahankara to Atman is a Pandita. Not because you are being Pragya Bhasasi, because you are utilizing the wise words, you have become a Pandita. No. So now he is explained to him what is the Pandita should be. Because Anushochanti Pandita, there also he said, they do not grieve. Why the Panditas do not grieve? Because they don't have the karma phala to the actions, papa man punya. And why this doesn't come? Because he has shifted his identity. Jasya sarve samarambha karma sankalpa varjita jnanagni dagdha karmanam tamahu panditam buddha. So he is a pandita. Now, yes. Yes, Anjuma?
Baba, they will not grieve for others also because they know that
Compassion.
body is limited.
They will not
Yeah.
grieve. There will be compassion. A mother has compassionate outlook for the child. If the child something happens, the mother may cry, but it's not for his own. He will not grieve for that. That is really emotional because you have a mind, you have emotions. Yes. But it is not that defines us. Because if I am ahankara, or where this feeling of emotion is coming in the mind itself, that means that engulfs me. So I am saying I am sad, I am sick, because where is your mind? Your mind and ahankara is one and the same. And where this feeling of dukkham and sukham is coming? In mind. And that you have identified yourself with the mind, ahankara. So you feel, I am sick, I am sad, I am happy. But what happens in case of a jnani? His identity has shifted from ahankara to atman. His mind is still there because we said that it's a functional mind now. So mind can become happy, mind can become unhappy, but it will not affect him. Like now, a car is running smoothly or making some noise, or it is broken down. It hurts me, but I will not cry that, okay, I am now immobilized, I am met with an accident, I am finished, because I see the difference between me and the vehicle. Similarly, the wise person sees the difference between his true self and ahankara. He brings that gap between that. Yes, Manjuma?
Yes, Baba, thank you.
Yeah. So he will feel because he is a human being. He will have feelings. But it is not, it doesn't make, it doesn't, his true character is not swayed away by this. It's an instrument. Instrument can be good, instrument can be bad. But that doesn't mean that I am good or I am bad because of my instrument. No, it's an instrument only. It has only functional nature. So this is the time. Let's look at the 20th verse. त्यक्त्वा कर्मफला सङ्गं नित्यतृप्तो निराश्रयः कर्मण्यभिप्रभूतोऽपि नैव किञ्चित् करोति सः. So here, in this verse, again Lord is talking about how a jnani get engaged in action. So that's the same that what in the 19th verse is again repeating the same in the verse 28th, going a little more deeper. So he's saying, so you see karmanya abhiprabhotiti. Karma means in karmani here. It is in plural form. Karmani abhiprabhuttaha. Karmani means all his activities. Abhiprabhuta means engaged. Prabhuti means engaged. Abhiprabhuti means extremely active. Even if he's saying he is extremely active. Karmanya abhiprabhuti But now the question is come that why he gets engaged in the action. Because he should be satisfied. He can go to Himalayas, he can go and just meditate. It's possible. Some self-realized persons, wise persons do that. That is possible. It cannot be ruled out. But if some people continue to be in the society in thick of actions, then what they do, whatever the actions they do, then what they have done, karma phalam sangaha. They give up their attachment to karma phala. That means they are not affected by whether the result of those actions. They have given up. Given up what? Attachment to the result of those actions. Now the question is, we have seen that people get into actions because people want something. That also we had seen that invention, because you want something, you are dissatisfied, you try to invent something. That if a person is always satisfied, always he feels full, will he get into action? Are you getting a point? The question is, what is the driving force for a jnani to get into action? It's the same, like we have compassion. Because he feels loka sangra, which Lord has already told in the chapter 3, which we have also seen earlier. That is the only reason he gets into action. And sometimes, whether he retires into Himalayas, lives a life of contemplation, that also is dependent mostly on his prarabdha. Because we have seen for a jnani, the sanchita karma is taken out. The agami karma doesn't accrue. But what continues for him is his prarabdha. So depending on that, the call of his prarabdha, he is called upon to act. But he acts not as a ahankari, he acts as a jnani. What is the difference? He has taktva karma phala sangaha. He has given up his attachment to the result of this action. So if the result is not as per expected, so it doesn't matter. Because he transcends this, this sukham and dukkham, heat and cold, that all these things, he is beyond now that. So that's why he's saying he is taktva karma phala sanga. And then where from this is coming, how he can give up these results of those actions, he gives up. Why? He is nitya. The verse. Oh, no, sorry. Stop, sorry. One second. Why the verse is okay here? Yeah. Saying he is nitya. That means he is always satiated, truptaha, satisfied. He's full. His completeness. Why I said na? His UPS is there. Unlimited Purnattam supply is there. Nitya trupta all the time. Then Nirashrayaha. Nirashraya means He doesn't depend on anything. Ashram means you need support, and he doesn't need support. You need support for what? Because you feel uncertainty. That's why you take support. He doesn't need it because he is all forbidding. He is full. He is nirvikaraha. There is no change in him. Always like Lord Shiva sitting there in meditation all the time. That is the person. But he gets into action. That's what he is saying. Karmane abhupravati. Then naiva kinkit karoti sa. He does this. But what with an attitude? Naiva kinchit. Whatever he does, he doesn't feel that he is doing it. Na eva karoti saha. He doesn't feel that he is doing it. Kinchit means even little also. He doesn't feel that he is the doer. Everything happens. So he is just an instrument. Whatever is necessary for the drama, he only plays his role. He knows in and through that it is a role he is playing. He doesn't lose his identity in the drama of life. If he's playing a role, he doesn't feel that, okay, he is that particular. If he's playing the role of a beggar, he doesn't think that he is a beggar. Or if he's playing the role of a king, he doesn't feel he is a king. He knows in and through all these roles he is playing, he knows who he really is. He's firmly established in that identity. All the time it is there. For us, now we have this also knowledge. We know we have a higher nature. We know where the mistake we are doing. We are identifying with our ahankara. But that shifting, that means all the time that I am Atman, that jnana nishtha is not there for us. But if you ask a jnani, he shifts this identity depending upon the situation. If you ask him, he goes to the immigration counter, then the immigration officer asks him, who are you? He's not going to say, I am Atman, I don't have a name, I don't have body. He doesn't say that. He will still give his identity. But even when he is giving his identity that I am so and so, this is my ID card, this is my height, weight, or whatever it is, but in and through also he knows that he is the Atman principle. He's not this body, mind, and intellect. So when he does that, so what will happen? Such people, having given up attachment to all the fruits of action, why? Because they are always satisfied, nirashra. They are not dependent on anything. It doesn't depend on things. That means it doesn't depend on the things which he feel like they're for us, that I need this house, I need this promotion, I need this spouse, I need this for my children, I need this sort of siblings. Our dependence on this world is more than 100%. So our happiness is modest to this world. But for a jnani, no, he is the source of his own happiness. He is happiness personified. He is Satyam Jnanam Anantam. That's what he is. Nirashraya. He doesn't need any support, outside support, external support. Karmanye abhutpravati. All the activities he does. Then naiva kinchit karoti saha. He doesn't think that he is the doer of action. Because it's only his instrument who is doing this. This is ahankara, that is his body, mind, and intellect. What a beautiful state, just imagine. We enjoy this life the way it has to be lived. For us, life is pain. Living is painful. But for a jnani, it is a sport, leela, because it doesn't affect him. This, then what we do? As a practitioner of Kriya, which Guruji or Gurudev always saying, observe your breath. The moment you observe your breath, what is happening? Our attention to the outside world, to an extent it goes down and we become inward looking. When you look inward, you slowly get connected with your higher self. There will be a gap developed between our true self and our mind. This helps us in shifting our identity from ahankara to atman. This is the process, slowly it goes, this habit goes. Then when you come to that stage, tadadrashtu swarupe avasthanam, yoga is vritti nirodha. That means when the mind is resolved, tada, then drashtu swarupe avasthanam. Once you be established in your true self and you know who you really are, now even when you come back after your nirvikapaka samadhi and you are interacting with this world outside, but you know that it's no more scary. Like when you do not know swimming, when you look at the water sources, it looks threatening. But once you know swimming, when you look at the same swimming pool or river or the sea, you feel like jumping into it, playing around it. So that time, your interaction with the water is a leela, sport. No more life threatening. So this is crucial. That's why it's so important. Why Guruji and Gurudev are always saying, observe your breath, observe your breath, observe your breath. And also another thing, you observe your breath, then slowly you will find yourself not so much attached to things of this world. So coming from there, because I have seen that my personal experiences, whenever I'm go for a walk, I try to observe my breath. If I'm looking at the people and everything around and then I forget again, I remember again, I go back. But I have seen now, if I am not looking at anybody, I'm looking at this as road, I don't lose count of my breaths. I'm always aware of it. But the moment I am looking at the faces, things out there, building or the car or the road or somebody is putting the horn or somebody is taking a turn, then when you look at it, then you get absorbed in this world and this observance of the breath is gone. This small thing, but this is what I have noticed. It's not that we should not interact with the world. But once you become wise, You will enjoy it, but till that time, there has to be a little restraint. Vairagya is necessary. Mental detachment inside we have to develop. And we'll see the same world which we are thinking that we'll keep it separate at arm's length. And when we go to the 24th verse, you will see how the Lord is integrating everything, that everything is you. There's nothing is separate from you. This is another beautiful thing. So that means once that you are wise, you realize the whole thing is you, and it doesn't disturb you that time. But now when you are practicing, you are starting the journey, this differentiation from the ahankara shifting to Atman, keeping yourself little aloof from the things of this world, bringing in some gap between you and this world is absolutely necessary. But subsequently, Lord is going to say that when you are wise, you realize there's nothing is separate from you. This world is not separate from you. You will come. So that is on 24th verse. So these are the very important verses. And this is what Lord is talking about it is purely Vedantic knowledge, Upanishadic knowledge. And this is the crucial of our spiritual journey. I will request you to think over it. Try to get these verses by heart. Think about it, mull over it, and let us all try to live with this knowledge. Okay, so I will end it here. So if you have any questions or you want to share something, any of you? Shukji, Deepak Baba must have gone. Habnama Java Shweta. Yes. Rohit Baba, are you there? Rohit Baba is there. Thank you. Okay, let's close our eyes. Keep your spine straight. Your attention on each inhalation and exhalation. This body, mind, even this building and the roads and the country is in my awareness. So my awareness is not limited by the boundaries of my body, nor anything in this world. Even the entire solar system, everything is in my awareness. To spatially, it is all pervading like space. Even it is not limited by time. My experiences when I was in college and my experiences of yesterday and today, when you look at it, there is no boundaries of time there. That beyond this is yesterday, now it is today, and after this boundary it will be tomorrow. There is no yesterday, today, and tomorrow there. It's just one sit, or you can say is only present. So my awareness is not limited by space, not limited by time. Everything is in me. When you are dreaming, in the dream world, everything looks real. MG Road, the car, the accident is of solid matter, and things are happening. But you know, you are the dreamer. Everything has come out of your mind. Where is matter in that? When the dream guru comes and tells you the dream character who met with an accident on MG Road, don't take it seriously. It is your own dream. We find it hard to believe. But when you wake up, there is no doubt in your mind the whole thing was your own creation. It was in awareness, made of awareness, came out of awareness, dissolved back into awareness. Similarly, when you wake up, at our current state, you will realize that it was my dream. And whatever you have gained or lost, which has thrown us into emotional turmoil, doesn't count. Whether it's $1 billion or $1, dream money is dream money. To wake up for our current sleep, it may take time. But at least let's try to think through and try to think that this is my dream. There is no reality. Reality is the rope. We have superimposed the snake on the rope. We have superimposed ahankara on Atman. We have superimposed matter on consciousness. Let us think, let us contemplate, let us own up our true nature. You fake it and you make it. Like Lahiri Masa said, Banat Banat Ban Jai. Let us offer our love and gratitude to Guruji, Gurudev, all the masters, sages and saints and gods. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Santi 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 Harihi Om Shri Guru Vyo Namaha Harihi Om. Thank you all. I
Thank you,
bow.
Baba.
Thank you.
Thank you, Baba.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Baba. Pranam, Baba.
Thank you.
Pranam, everyone.
So next week, but do study, do think over it, contemplate. It's beautiful verses here, beautiful things.
Yes. Thank you.